Mom, look at all the geese. Did you know that geese leave from and fly back to the exact same spot every single year? My 8-year-old explained a couple of days ago. We were stopped in the car at a stoplight that was next to a cornfield full of geese. The day before, he'd been telling me all about how clownfish have a hierarchy with a strong female clownfish always at the top. He is destined to become a zoologist someday. That kid loves animals and loves animal facts. I didn't know that. Yes, Mom, they always know how to go home. Home. I do so love that word. It is my very favorite place to be. When my children were little, we started a tradition in our home. Every Friday was family night. We would order out for pizza and pop popcorn, then everyone would get into their jammies, grab a pillow, and we would all head down to the basement to watch a movie together. When we would get down to the basement, there would be piles of quilts waiting for us. Quilts that over the years have become beds, tents, and the best snuggle blankets. Quilts that aren't perfectly sewn, but perfectly made for the purpose they were intended for, to be used and loved by my family. For years, we rarely missed a Friday movie night, and each time as we gathered, my heart felt full because of the people that were surrounding me, the people that make our house a home. These days, Friday movie nights are getting farther and farther apart, with teenagers going in different directions and wanting to spend more time with friends. But the minute we all pile down in the basement and I see my precious kiddos all snuggled in with those quilts, I am reminded how much I love them, and home, and this tradition that was started so many years ago.
This is Liz and Elizabeth from Simple Simon & Company, and you are listening to Stitched. Today's episode is sponsored by Baby Lock. Flying Geese Quilt Blocks are traditionally twice as wide as they are tall, giving them a unique rectangular shape. The focal point of this block is a large, wide triangle, the goose, flanked by two smaller triangles on each side that represent the sky. Contrast is an essential characteristic of this block. The most successful flying geese quilts are those which strike the proper balance of light and dark fabrics, thus setting off the geese against the sky. Flying Geese Quilt Blocks are fantastic standalone blocks and are perfect for adding excitement and a sense of movement to any design. However, when sewn together in a row, they also make excellent borders, sashing, and when combined with other shapes, form interesting new quilt blocks such as the Sawtooth Star. As for the making of Flying Geese Quilt Blocks, well, it seems as though there are just as many methods to create them as there are ways to use them in a quilt top. From assembling them with two squares sewn to a rectangle, to stitching together a pair of half-square triangles. There are scores of methods out there to try. In fact, just this week I was fascinated by a YouTube video of a cowboy sewing up some flying geese using only one seam and a stack of folded fabric, which just goes to show that the ways in which to create flying geese are varied indeed. But what does not vary is the loyalty those making the blocks have to the method that they prefer. And if I've learned anything since I've started quilting, it's not to get between a quilter and her favorite quilting method.
We'd like to pause here for a moment and talk to you about Baby Lock's brand new line of sewing machines called the Genuine Collection. The Genuine Collection features sewing machines that start at just $99 and have something to offer for every skill level. Whether you're interested in sewing, quilting, serging, or home decor, there's a Genuine Collection machine that's perfect for you. Visit babylock.com/genuine to learn more.
Upon seeing a row of flying geese, it quickly becomes obvious why these blocks were given their name. With their follow-the-leader format, combined with the triangles' resemblance of outstretched wings, it isn't hard to visualize a gaggle of geese soaring overhead, a sight that is especially common in our neck of the woods. But why do geese fly together in such a format? Explanations abound, but scientists do agree on two specific reasons. The first is to conserve energy. When geese fly in formation, each goose flies slightly higher than the bird they are in front of. This allows the following aviators to take advantage of the updrafts, which are air currents that are created by the leader's wingtips. These updrafts not only reduce wind resistance and generate lift, but they also make it possible for those following to glide more often and thus conserve their energy. When the leaders become tired, they fall back, and those geese who are more rested soar up to take their place leading the flock. In this rotating pattern, the gaggle is able to travel up to 70% farther as a family than they would be able to on their own. The second reason geese travel in a triangular formation is for the communication and coordination benefits. When flying in this formation, it's easy to keep track of all the travelers. The V allows visual contact to be maintained with every single member of the group. This keeps the entire gaggle not only moving in the right direction, but also keeps individual birds from crashing into one another and from getting lost.
My 8-year-old was right. Geese do fly away and then return to the exact same spot every year. Even though they leave, they always come back. They come back home. With the holidays approaching, many of our thoughts and hearts are returning home as well. Home to family and friends and traditions that have become dear. Traditions that differ as widely from family to family as do the methods used in creating Flying Geese Quilt Blocks, but should also be held on to as tightly as the quilter clings to her favorite block-making method. Often, it's these traditions that become the V formation for our families, as we as mothers work hard to pass them on to our flock. Instinctively, we know that traditions will offer our family members much-needed support, help to maintain contact, and most importantly, to make sure that no one gets lost. Traditions have this magical way of reaching through the generations, giving lift to family members, and helping guide them back home. Friday movie nights may be fading, or at least becoming less frequent, but this holiday season I am looking forward to at least one night in the basement with pizza, popcorn, quilts, and the children that I love best. After all, it's a tradition.
For more stories, projects, and quilt tutorials, visit us over at www.simplesimonandco.com. There you can find step-by-step instructions on how to create Flying Geese Quilt Blocks, as well as a variety of quilt patterns and tutorials that incorporate this beloved quilt block. We hope you join us next time as we dive into another quilting classic. But in the meantime, do you have a favorite quilt block or a quilting technique you'd like us to talk about? If so, leave us a comment or send us an email. We'd love to hear your ideas. And as always, thanks for listening.